Hey guys, and welcome to another video. This time I'm going to be reviewing the series premiere of HouseBroken, titled Who's a Good Girl? This episode is the pilot, the first episode of HouseBroken, which aired on May 31st. It's from Clea DuVall, Gabrielle Allen, and Jennifer Crittenden. I think that's how you say her name. And Jennifer wrote some of the best episodes in classic Simpsons, like 22 short films of Springfield, and one of my favorites, and Maggie Makes 3. Such an amazing episode. So I have high hopes for HouseBroken, and so far I think it's off to a pretty decent start, to be honest. I think the trailers of the show kind of turned people away because the network wanted to include scenes that focused more on shock value, and I feel like that turned away a lot of viewers to the show.
Oh, okay, I think I got a barf. No, I'm okay. I threw up. I feel better. Hey, are you okay?
Yes, thank you.
Oh, no, come on. Anytime, babe.
Don't do it.
What? No. What? No, I'm just making sure the coyote's gone. Come on, I'll see you in there. Oh, it's still warm.
But after seeing the first episode a few times now, I've come to the conclusion that I think this could be a really good show. And it's not solely because it's not just about families, but rather its execution and its premise is rather unique and more different than other adult anime shows. While it does have the shock humor that Family Guy has, or to a lesser extent The Simpsons and Duncanville, it doesn't focus on that as its main focus. Its main focus is rather a therapy dog named Honey, who conducts these therapy sessions with other animals in a group when their owners aren't home. So they support each other through the misery, mayhem, and majesty that is, being an animal rather than being people. So the main character is Honey, and she's voiced by Lisa Kudrow, who's best known for her role as Phoebe in Friends, and her arranged marriage by her owner Jill. Chief, who's voiced by Nat Faxon, is a sloppy Saint Bernard dog who enjoys doing gross stuff. There's also Shel, a tortoise who has intimacy issues. He's voiced by Will Forte, who does Wolf in the Great North. Tabitha, an aging Persian cat, voiced by Sharon Horgan, who voices Dagmar in Disenchantment. Jason Mantzoukas does Lyle, also known as the Grey One. Jason was in Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Son of Zorn, which was a one-season canceled Fox show. He's also on The Good Place. He's a street-smart cat who lives with a ton of cats and has an eye on Tabitha. Chico, who's voiced by Sam Richardson, is a chunky, codependent, and very naive cat. And the group's newest member, Diablo, an anxious, sweater-wearing terrier who humps everything twice due to his OCD. He's voiced by Tony Hale. Tony Hale also voices Max, George Clooney's pig. There's also Elsa, who's voiced by co-creator Clea DuVall. She's a know-it-all corgi and kind of a feigned service dog. She kind of gets on Honey's nerves. There's also some guest characters who appear sometimes, like Nibbles, a psychopathic hamster, Bubbles, a horny teenage goldfish who lives with Honey and Chief, and there's Silent Chachki, who's a silent loris who uses a tiny cocktail umbrella to communicate with the group. And then there's also Jill, who's voiced by Maria Bamford. She's Honey and Chief's human owner. So HouseBroken is an irreverent look at human behavior, but told through the filter of quirky group of neighborhood pets. Throughout the series, the show centers on the pets' dysfunctional relationships and their skewed worldview, while exploring relevant societal issues in fun and unique ways. So the first episode had Honey trying to move on after one of their group members, who's known as Big Cookie, ends up passing. I don't remember how it was said they passed. It may have been due to just age, but she's trying to move on from the group. Actually, all of them, to be honest, are trying to move on. But the episode has an emphasis on Honey trying to get a new member, which is Diablo, into the group. But then the group doesn't accept Diablo. They're very mean to him, and because of that, after they have the first session, Diablo doesn't come back for another session. Which then leads to the conclusion that maybe Honey gets rather upset that the group drove Diablo away by not treating him with respect, and she thinks that they're at fault. But rather instead, she then realizes that they didn't give Diablo the treatment that he wanted.
The way you treated Diablo last time was not okay.
Not okay!
Elsa, not now!
Not now!
We're supposed to be here for each other. We were all here for Tabitha when Stelios dyed her hot pink, for Elsa when her owner left her at the fire festival, and for Max when he farted on Dame Judi Dench. And we should have been here for Diablo. He needed us.
Well, the group was already a little dog-heavy.
And we need him to fill Big Cookie's spot.
With all due respect, Dr. Honey, we told you we weren't ready for a new member.
And you ignored us.
I'm still processing.
Can we get back to me?
No.
But Diablo actually ends up forgetting that they had a session, and he's glad to be there, which is sort of nice. I do like the kind of the final act where it moves towards Honey moving on. She talks with Chief, there's no more group session, and I think it's a deep look into things, to be honest, because we don't really get this side of shows in the Fox Animation Domination block. I do think that if this is the route the show's continuing at, I actually think it'll be a really good show, and it's not because it doesn't always have to be kind of sad or stuff, but rather it seems to be going for more in depth rather than like a show that's throwing edge after edge for a shocking. This show does feature that, especially through Chief, the secondary main character, but it doesn't. The show doesn't focus on that as its main focus, and I think that's what's going to make this show shine through the future episodes of the series. I would like to get to know the entire group through them talking about their history, what they know, their experiences, and I think this will be a really fun show, especially since it centers, and especially since most of the time it stays in one setting, because yeah, multiple settings sure are nice, but I think this is a show that'll benefit from staying in one setting. We get to learn more about the characters, and we might get some great character development. Supposedly, I think there's going to be some continuity in this series, mainly because Honey does meet a coyote at the end of the episode, and I think he's set to appear again sometime later in the series. There's also the turtle, who's Shel. He has an obsession with some shoe, and I'm sure it's going to be brought up later. And then Diablo is the new member of the group, and he's going to continue appearing in the series. So, again, the show is a little different because I feel like it's going to emphasize continuity. And I think that'll be a very great thing for the show. I'm not saying that it's going to be a story-driven show, but it might have a small kind of overarching thing where they talk more about themselves, and I think this will be a really good show just because of how different it is. But this pilot wasn't all that great. I didn't think it was all that funny. The subplot was expected to be a letdown, and it was, mainly because I think the joke of the turtle Shel trying to find love through a pair of Crocs there's, you know how sandals come in pairs, but there's only one shoe, and Shel makes love through it. It's based on a viral TikTok meme where a turtle ends up making out to a shoe. And yeah, sure, it's nice to maybe have it just one time just for laughs, but I feel like it's going to continue with this, especially since the trailers hint that it is, and I think it's going to get old rather quickly. But at the same time, maybe it could offer something new, although I'm kind of doubtful a little bit of that. So, overall, I think the pilot is fine. It's certainly not as bad as people are like saying, oh, this show is going to be so uninteresting because, but I think through the future episode of the series, it's going to offer what the loglines actually say it's going to do, centering on the pets' dysfunctional relationships and their worldviews, while providing some good laughs and good character development. It has great people behind it, first of all, a great voice cast.
Mm-hmm. You know, I had a dream last night.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of hard to remember all the details, but the basic gist of it was...
I walked right into that one.
I'm sorry. I actually really did have a dream last night.
Oh, for real? Okay. Wow, what was it? That one was my fault. All right, now it's too much. Okay, let's wrap up the fart jokes.
Actually, those stopped being jokes 2 farts ago.
And I think it's going to be an okay show, or at least first of all, I really like the premise. First of all, it's unique. It sounds fun. It kind of reminds me a little bit about BoJack Horseman, but BoJack Horseman, the characters who are animals are actually treated as humans, whereas in this show they're actually treated as pets. But I think this show will go more in depth with its characters and be a pretty deep show as well, rather than just shock comedy for the sake of shock comedy, especially since this first episode has proved otherwise. It's a little boring, but it's a pilot. I'm not expecting too much from it. It's not bad at all. So Who's a Good Girl is a decent series intro to HouseBroken. While it's not that funny, and I didn't like the subplot really at all, I think the main plot was surprisingly pretty solid for the most part, and I think it offers some heart and some good character development as well. Yeah, it's not great, but it definitely has a lot of potential to be really good, and I'm really looking forward to this, even if it does mean that it's replacing Bless the Hearts on the animation domination block. So yeah, just my thoughts overall on HouseBroken series premiere. What did you think about this episode? Maybe you liked it more than me, maybe you didn't. Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.